we'll take little victories wherever we can. At least we had some sunshine. That was about the only warm thing you could say about today. Your satellite and radar, we had sunshine here. Meanwhile, the other side of the lake, there was some snowfall coming down, and some of that snow wrapping down towards around Porter County, LaPorte County in Indiana, and back into Berrien County. We missed out on all of that, but we do have a chance of some lake effect snow combining with some snowfall coming up from the south as this massive winter storm that you've been hearing about that will be affecting for much of the rest of the country continues to spill through the central portion of the country. We're on the north side of that. Temperatures right now -2 at the lakefront. It's -5 at O'Hare, -4 degrees right now at Midway, and most of those numbers are well below zero. Wind chills right now, well, the gusts are up to around 10 to 12 to 15 miles per hour, with wind chills running 25 to about 28 degrees below zero this hour. Bitter cold chills continue as we go overnight tonight. The cold temperature, unfortunately, is going to be with us for the rest of the week, but we may be seeing a little rounding of the cold coming up in the next 24 hours.
Mark, real quick, just interested, where does today rank among the worst cold snaps we've seen before?
Well, we've had many more cold snaps, much colder than this, but, you know, you can see it's dangerously cold. Cold enough to close schools, cold enough to close the museums, cold enough to slow business down around Chicago, and we're going to continue to see that cold air overnight tonight. There is a cold weather advisory that is in effect overnight tonight until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All right, remember those NIPCO bills we talked about Tuesday? Well, more people in Northwest Indiana have been hitting us up. Their bills have doubled, some tripled.
Brett Bagansky has been digging into this issue. He joins us now in studio. Brett, this has the attention of state lawmakers across state lines, doesn't it?
It certainly does, especially after a lot of our viewers had reached out to us for help. So less than 2 hours ago, I spoke with State Representative Mike Andrade, who is introducing amendments to a bill Monday that is all about giving Indiana residents relief on their utility bills. So NIPCO told Fox Chicago that the recent high gas bills are a result of market demand, weather conditions, and maintaining and upgrading its infrastructure. But customers I spoke with feel NIPCO is just simply taking advantage of them and is more concerned about making a profit. So Representative Andrade wrote a letter to the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, which approves the utility rates, and he was asking commissioners to not only look into NIPSCO's billing practices, but to potentially step in to make sure people are not overpaying for utilities. So Andrade told me when he wrote the letter in September, the commission ignored him, and he told me after several of our viewers wrote to them, they finally answered him, and he said he's optimistic now that they're finally listening to you. And this is really all just coming as Northwest Indiana NIPSCO customers are getting ready to hold protests outside of NIPSCO offices in both Hammond and Maryville, Indiana. And later tonight at 5 o'clock, be sure to tune in, because I spoke with another viewer who was telling me about how much she's paying. She's retired, and it just reached a point now where it is getting very uncomfortable, especially on one of the worst winter days of the year. That's a story you do not want to miss tonight at 5 o'clock.
All right, Brett, finding answers. We'll look forward to that at 5. And tragic reminder of just how dangerous this extreme cold can be.
A woman died in her home in Evergreen Park. Cold exposure killed her. Leslie Moreno went to find out more.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, this is exactly why we always tell people to check on their neighbors, their elderly neighbors especially, who may not have someone to check on them regularly. Officials say 81-year-old Mary Savisky was found dead inside her home in the 9600 block of South Francisco Avenue in Evergreen Park on Monday. The Cook County medical examiner ruled her death accidental, caused by cold exposure, with heart disease also cited as a contributing factor. That's the 10th cold-related death in Cook County so far this winter. Her death occurred during a cold weather advisory that was in effect from 3 a.m. to noon on Monday. In this weather, health officials say frostbite can occur on exposed skin in as little as 10 minutes. Doctors say seniors lose body heat much faster and may not realize how cold their home actually is. Hypothermia can also set in even indoors if temperatures are too low.
It could be that in this circumstance, even though the wind isn't blowing on their face, there isn't snow coming at them, if the temperature of the room that you're in is cold enough for a long enough period of time, especially in an individual who doesn't have enough of a reserve to kind of counteract those extremes of temperature, it could affect anybody.
City officials say Chicago warming centers are open during this extreme cold. Residents can also call 311 to request a welfare check. At Evergreen Park, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
ComEd says they're ready for whatever this weekend brings. They're watching the weather. Crews are standing by 24/7 for any power outages. They put out tips on staying warm when it gets dangerously cold out there.
Some of the things you can do right now. Number one, consider lowering your thermostat a little bit lower than you normally do. Consider dressing in layers. I mean, you probably had like ugly sweaters that you wore during the holidays. You know, you only got to wear them once. Bring them out. This would be a good time. Also, if the sun is shining on the south side of your home, if you have south side facing windows, open those up on a day like today. It's very sunny right now. So take advantage of that heat. And then when the nighttime falls, close them and lock in that heat.
If your power goes out, text OUT to 26633 or report it on their website.
And a coalition of labor unions is asking state lawmakers to protect outdoor workers from the extreme temperatures. They're pushing legislation in Springfield called the Workplace Extreme Temperature Safety Act. It would require companies to establish workplace-specific policies to protect outdoor workers from extreme heat or extreme cold temperatures. Some of those policies would include warming stations for outdoor workers in extreme cold and temperature thresholds to keep workers indoors during extreme heat. Companies would also face fines for not complying, and workers would be protected from any retaliation for refusing to work in the extreme conditions. The legislation is sponsored by Hyde Park Democratic State Senator Robert Peters, and these labor groups, including SEIU, plan to hold a press conference on Wednesday to talk more about this bill. And stay with us for the very latest on the dangerously cold weather. When we're not on the air, we'll bring you the most up-to-date information on our website, fox32chicago.com, and on the Fox local app.
A doctor in Chicago got charged with killing his ex-wife and her husband in Ohio. Pleaded not guilty. David McGee's in a jail in Ohio right now. They brought him over from Illinois. A grand jury indicted him for the deaths of Monique and Spencer TP. Someone found them shot to death in their home in Columbus, December 30th. Police arrested McGee in Rockford.
A top Indiana lawmaker wants the Bears to put some more skin in the game in the ongoing stadium saga. Indiana's Republican Speaker of the House, Todd Houston, says they will advance a bill that would essentially own and fund a big chunk of the new stadium in Northwest Indiana if the Bears commit to the Hoosier State first. The Bears, as you know, are still seeking approval on legislation here in Illinois that would kickstart a stadium in Arlington Heights. Houston says he is supportive of legislation that would establish a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority to lure the Bears across the border. But it sounds like he wants the Bears' flirtation with the Hoosier State to turn into a commitment, just kind of like the political version of, if you like it, put a ring on it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We'll be singing that to you in the commercial
Sorry,
break.
A former Olympian lands on the FBI's most wanted list.
Investigators say he went from competing on the world stage to running a drug empire. How they say he became the largest trafficker in modern times.
And the cold's hitting way more than just us. Millions of people are getting ready for heavy snow and ice this weekend.
Tensions are still high across Minnesota as activists call on businesses to take a stand, while new images of children in custody cause more controversy. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
Your go-to source for live
Residents in Minnesota calling for a boycott of businesses and schools as protests continue over ongoing immigration enforcement.
The images of a young child being taken into custody are sparking even more controversy. Here's Connor Hansen.
Oh my God! Oh, no! No! Stop!
More videos are surfacing of immigration arrests across the Minneapolis area as protests against the enforcement efforts continue. There was renewed outrage when an image surfaced of a 5-year-old boy being taken into ICE custody. One local school superintendent says several students have been detained.
As of this week, 4 of our students have been apprehended and taken away by masked and armed ICE agents with no identifying badges. The onslaught of ICE activity in our community is inducing trauma and is taking a toll on our children.
The Trump administration and immigration officials were quick to respond, saying the young child's father ran away when they tried to arrest him. ICE says they were taking care of the child and have reunited him with his father in custody.
They're not being separated. That child is in the least restrictive setting possible.
The family came across as a family unit illegally a few years back.
Meanwhile, a group of activists is calling for a day of truth and freedom, a boycott of shopping, work, and school, plus a large rally.
No ICE on our streets!
They're urging politicians and businesses to take a stand.
We are in a free state, but we are occupied territory. We will not be subjected to this kind of cruelty, and we will not be subjected as a free state.
And after several protesters were arrested for interrupting a church service, federal officials say more people could be charged. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox Chicago.
Trump, aprende, el pueblo se defiende. Trump, aprende, el pueblo se defiende.
Immigrant rights leaders in our area joined Minnesota for a day of action. Dozens of groups gathered in Pilsen today to protest ICE. They want the government to cut funding for the agency.
The truth about this moment is that the fight against ICE and militarized occupation of our cities goes beyond any one community.
That's right.
It extends beyond state borders, and it connects our communities across the country. We are all affected. The work of exposing ICE's violence and organizing alongside our neighbors is unifying and a growing national movement demanding that we abolish ICE.
They say they'll keep rallying to push ICE out of cities across the country.
President Trump still going after Greenland. He says he's not willing to wait much longer to take it over. He's giving Danish leaders 2 weeks to sign off on a new deal. Now, it would give the U.S. more access to Greenland, but further details of this deal are still pretty murky. They reportedly center on an agreement for the U.S. to take over small pockets of the island for military use. Now, Trump claims the deal is open-ended and gives the U.S. total control.
The time limit is infinity, meaning there is no time limit. It's forever. We can do military. We can do anything we want.
The Danish and European leaders are pushing back against Trump's requests. They say they're open to cooperating, but only through the proper channels.
The FBI just caught a guy who used to snowboard in the Olympics. They say he was running a whole drug empire. His name is Ryan Wedding. He was on the run for almost a year, and they grabbed him last night in Mexico City. Investigators say he'd been hiding out there for more than 10 years. According to them, he was moving cocaine from Colombia up to the U.S. and Canada. A big operation. They're also saying he set up several murders.
He is a modern-day El Chapo. He is a modern-day Pablo Escobar, and he thought he could evade justice. This individual and his organization in the Sinaloa cartel poured narcotics into the streets of North America and killed too many of our youth and corrupted too many of our citizens. And that ends today.
He's supposed to show up in court for his first appearance in L.A. Monday. So TikTok's staying. They closed a deal yesterday to make a new American version. Americans run it now. Americans own most of it. Oracle and some other U.S. investors took control. ByteDance, that's the company in China. They still have a piece, but it's small. President Biden signed a law that would have banned TikTok here unless it cut ties with China. People were concerned about data getting misused and China having too much influence. This deal means the app keeps running for all 170 million people who use it here. But we are not the only ones dealing with this cold. There's a polar vortex dropping temperatures all over the country and a big snowstorm's headed to the south.
And millions will be in the system's path as it moves north. Will it hit here? Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell has more.
I'm ready for it, so if I'm stuck in the house, I will have food and water.
Folks are stocking up on shovels, food, and salt as a winter storm threatens dozens of states. Forecasters say Texas and Oklahoma will see snow and ice overnight before the system moves east over the weekend.
2,000 miles of watches and warnings is just absolutely incredible. More than half the country is going to experience winter weather.
In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott issued a disaster declaration for more than 100 counties on Thursday. Officials say they hope upgrades made to the state's power grid will help reduce the potential for widespread outages.
The most prepared we've been and the most resilient that our grid has been.
As the storm moves north, it could drop more than a foot of snow in places. A round of Arctic air will follow, potentially dropping wind chills to minus 50 degrees in the Midwest. The conditions could keep roads and sidewalks frozen into next week.
We're not going to be out of this for a while. So hunker down, change your habits, try to minimize your time outside.
State and local officials are urging people to stay off the roads and adjust their travel plans. According to travel booking app Hopper, as many as 15,000 flights could be delayed in the coming days.
I was supposed to come in Sunday. I've already changed it to Monday. Fingers crossed.
And AAA says if you have to drive, make sure to pack an emergency kit and check your car's battery life before heading out. In Oxford, Mississippi, I am Brandy Campbell for Fox Weather.
All right, let's take you back outside right now. Mark, the sun was working overtime today, and it still was losing. Still getting its you-know-what whooped.
It's a losing equation on a day like today where you have Arctic air just pouring not only into Chicago, but not only into the upper Midwest, but as you saw, this is cold air that's going all the way down really to the Gulf Coast. It's going to be cold throughout the eastern two-thirds of the nation. Once again, wind chills right now running 20 to about 26 to 27 degrees below zero right now. Our actual air temperature tonight down close to 10 degrees below zero overnight again tonight, and that should be the worst of it. After that, we'll slowly crawl out of that hole. Cold weather advisory is posted across the entire region. That is until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We are still in for some bitter cold temperatures. Extreme cold alerts just above that, just across from basically Milwaukee northward and from about Grand Rapids northward. So just north of our advisory, they've got cold air warnings. And then there's some winter storm warnings as well, or at least advisories posted across parts of the area. And that includes up the shore on the other side of Lake Michigan, and then also down to our south, central Illinois. We have some snowfall coming our direction, but the heaviest snowfall will be central and southern Illinois because this storm system is moving, as you heard in that report, from basically Oklahoma and Texas right across the Mid-South into the Carolinas. That's where the ice and the snow could be heaviest. In fact, some areas of Kentucky up to a foot of snow. I'm expecting we will see some snowfall here. We have it from a couple of different sources. We're on the north side of that system, so I think we'll get a couple to a few inches of snowfall out of that. And then I think we'll also see some lake enhancement coming into Chicago as well. So right now we are seeing lake snows. Those lake snows will continue largely for much of the weekend, mostly the other side of the lake. But I think over the next 24 hours, I think we could get a little pocket of that as well, especially as we go Sunday into Monday. Overnight low temperatures, we're going down close to 10 degrees below zero, probably about 8 to 9 degrees below zero here in the city before we slowly dig out. But in the 7-day forecast, guys, all of the numbers I have are below average.
Trying to look for some silver linings there, Mark. At least the snow isn't here yet, but it is in Michigan and Indiana. Anyway, progress trying to keep people from smoking is at risk.
Yeah, the generation experts say is picking it up again and what states need to do if they want to turn this around.
And Sylvia Perez shows us a cool non-alcoholic cocktail you can make at home as Dry January continues for another week.
Sunday.
I'm Sylvia Perez, and this is The List. Today, we are in Westtown cooking up some non-alcoholic cocktails that you can make at home. First up, the Paloma.
Usually, palomas are either made with tequila or mezcal traditionally. What we're going to use today is a really awesome alternative to a mezcal. So this is actually made and produced like mezcal down in Oaxaca. We're going to do 2 ounces of the tomo no tomo. You can just get the really awesome aromatic smell of mezcal. It's obviously what's revered for and loved for. We're going to do fresh grapefruit juice. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces. And then we're going to do a little citrus. We're going to do a little bit of lime juice. Only 0.5 ounce is needed. And then we're going to use this awesome syrup, margaritas, palomas, really just good to use to make these traditional cocktails. We're not going to do too sweet, right? So we're only going to do about 0.5 ounce of it. We're going to grab just a bit of ice. We're going to shake it up. We're going to use this beautiful glassware. Just get a really nice, beautiful light color. And then comes the other best part, which is the garnish, right? So we're going to do a grapefruit garnish, and then we're going to plus it up with a nice little rosemary sprig.
This is so close to mezcal.
So yeah, you can smell it.
Yes.
It's in the aromas.
Wow,
Yeah.
good job.
Cheers.
You need one too.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
All right, more Gen Zers are smokers.
Yeah, a new report warns that decades of progress in reducing tobacco use is at risk unless state lawmakers act. The report found that states are falling short on funding tobacco prevention programs. These programs are important in helping prevent kids from starting to smoke. Researchers say increasing tobacco taxes could be an effective way to reduce tobacco use. It would help states generate billions of dollars to help fund prevention programs.
It's really critical now than more than ever if we want to continue these gains in protecting kids from these products and prevent emerging products from increasing, to really invest robustly in these tobacco prevention and control programs.
Now, researchers also say if states increase the tobacco tax by just $1, they can help save thousands of teen lives.
Well, a lot of people are calling this a crisis. A new report just came out. Way fewer kids are signing up for Chicago public schools. Why is this happening? And what one expert says lawmakers need to do about it.
And we don't need to remind you, but if you're able, stay inside, please. Mark has another update in his next frigid forecast.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
Hi, Blair.
right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact, if you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
This weekend only, shop Ashley's 2-day.
Fewer babies are being born in Chicago. Why that's creating a crisis in public schools ahead.
5 people are now facing charges in connection with the shooting of an Indiana judge and his wife.
Okay, today is all about how it feels, not what it looks like.
Yeah, because it looks kind of pretty out there, Mark. But, you know, the thing is, if the wind's not blowing, it's just 8 below. I'm trying to look on the bright side here.
That's very poetic, yeah. I mean, this is a typical don't judge a book by its cover. When you look at that picture there, I mean, yeah, it looks gorgeous. Sunshine, we've got some blue skies. Now, you look at this map and you see blues and purples all over. That indicates some bitter cold temperatures. This is a look at our jet stream, and you can see that jet stream careening straight down out of Canada and pulling those cold temperatures all the way down, basically to the Texas Gulf Coast. So we're not the only ones involved in this cold weather. You can see most of the nation is in the icebox here, and that's why this massive winter storm system that will be spreading snow and ice, especially across the south here coming up over the next 48 hours, will continue to plague up to 170 million people. You can see, look at this heaviest snowfall and in excess of a foot of snow across parts of Kentucky through the Ohio Valley. Again, we're on the northern fringe of this system. I expect to see some snowfall here in Chicago. The further you get closing in on the Wisconsin state line, I think maybe an inch or two out of this over the weekend, and then for points south and to our southeast, we could see 4 and even 5 inches of snowfall out of that. Now, again, a little bit of a moving target. We're on the edge here, heaviest snowfall down to the south, and to complicate matters, we have lake enhancement going on here as well. That lake effect snow that'll be feeding in. Look at these numbers. They're so far down off the chart. They all have minus signs coming in overnight tonight. Then as we go throughout the day tomorrow, we actually tack a little bit north of 0. We make it all the way up to about 10 degrees tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, those temperatures in the single digits, and we warm into the teens as we head into the second part of the weekend. And that's when we expect to see a little more snow. More on that coming up.
All right, 10 above, bust out the flip-flops and the Bermuda shorts. All right, several warming centers are open to help people all over the city escape the severe cold. The Salvation Army has several of these centers open. The Freedom Center, West Humboldt Park, is available 24/7 this weekend. And it's important because these kinds of negative temperatures, as we've mentioned many times, are deadly. Frostbite can happen in just minutes. One of the people at the shelter says he was treated for hypothermia just last night.
Definitely should help others in these types of instances, no question, yeah, because it's just obviously you wouldn't want to be out there and like, wind is coming against me, I feel like I'm going to die. You would want someone to help you out in that situation. Everyone would.
And we have a full list of all the warming centers open on our website, fox32chicago.com.
And winter weather has been messing up flights all over the country. Tens of thousands got delayed, hundreds got canceled completely.
That's expected to grow during the weekend, as you know, because of that big storm. Now, right now, we're joined by Katie Nastro, travel expert with Going.com. Hey, Katie, good to talk to you again. So the first obvious question, what can travelers do right now to prepare?
The first thing that travelers should do is, if they haven't already, download their airline app. That's going to be the best source of information in terms of travel alerts when you're monitoring a flight across any type of severe weather disruption. Make sure your push notifications are on. Again, that's the fastest form of communication. You can sign up for text alerts, email, but if you had purchased your flight through an online travel agency like a Booking.com or others, you want to make sure that you have your contact details as updated as possible. Sometimes there's a ghost email address associated. You want to make sure you have your direct email as well as your direct phone number in there so the airline can get in touch with you for all of those updates. As well as some people take advantage of winter weather waivers that are out. Most carriers like United, American, which is a big hub in Chicago, as well as Delta, Southwest, Alaska, Frontier, and Spirit, have all put out winter weather waivers, which allow people to make changes without having to dish out for the extra expense of a change fee or any fare difference. So people can take advantage of these ahead of the storm if they're traveling tomorrow or Sunday or even Monday.
There's always a lot of questions around getting money back for a canceled flight as well. But I guess since you're mentioning the waivers, that's a way around that. But what should you be doing if you're looking for a refund for a flight that's canceled?
Unfortunately, most ticket types that people had purchased are non-refundable, and those refundable ticket fares are very pricey to begin with. So in this instance, your best case scenario is contacting your airline to see if you can get a credit for the value of your ticket to use in the future. We've got spring break coming up. Maybe you want to book a flight to a warm weather destination like Miami or elsewhere. And so it's not that you're not going to be able to use that flight in the future. You're just going to have it in the form of a credit.
Katie, we mentioned this big storm hitting over the weekend. Do you have any sense of what the delays are going to be like, the cancellations, and which airports are going to be hit the hardest? I mean, it seems like O'Hare always is because it's such a major transfer airport.
Yeah, look, I think regardless of where you are in the U.S., in some way, it's looking like you are going to be impacted regardless of where you're flying into, through, or from. Because this is such a widespread storm, it's likely impacting roughly 30 to 40 plus different airports, large, medium, and small. Just for an example of the impacts we're already seeing, places like Dallas are already seeing upwards of 65% of their flights being canceled today. And then looking ahead to tomorrow, we're seeing places like Oklahoma City canceling roughly 70% of their flights, smaller airports feeling the effects the greatest because they're not able to handle those jumbo jets flying in and out of them. So these regional carriers are really the regional routes going to be affected the most. So if you're on, say, a short haul flight in the meantime of throughout the weekend, you're likely going to be impacted. If you're on a transcontinental flight or a flight on a larger wide body plane, you're less likely to see the impact of an outright cancellation. But we just don't know how severe this severe weather will get, but it's likely we're going to see thousands of cancellations. We're already seeing over 1,500 flights canceled tomorrow preemptively, and it's likely we're going to see a ripple effect of massive, massive delays.
Indeed, indeed. Katie, Astro travel expert with Going.com. Thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thanks, Katie. Safe travels, warm travels. All right, 5 people are now in custody in connection with the shooting of an Indiana judge and his wife. Lafayette police say 3 men and 2 women are facing charges including attempted murder and obstruction of justice. Right now, we don't know what led to the shooting. Judge Steve Meyer and his wife were shot in their home in Lafayette last Sunday. They are expected to survive.
Chicago Public Schools just put out numbers that should make people pay attention. Kids First Chicago released a report saying the district is losing students fast enough that could change everything about how the system works. We're talking more than 100,000 kids gone in 10 years, and that's not slowing down either. Families are leaving Chicago in big numbers. A policy analyst broke down what's actually happening.
We've had depopulation loss in Chicago, right? I mean, this has been something that has been discussed by demographers who've looked at Chicago, right? We've seen, 250,000 Black Chicagoans who are no longer in the city, often going to suburbs right outside Chicago, potentially Northwest Indiana. There's a litany of reasons why families have left the city of Chicago, not having to do with the education system whatsoever.
Fewer kids in classrooms every single year. The district is already making moves. 6 schools are closing when the school year ends because they don't have enough students to stay open. Families whose kids go to these schools will get their reassignments next month. We have more information on Fox Chicago.
I think it's going to be a massive issue in the school board elections coming up in just a few months. Now, today is your last chance to go to the Timeout Market. It's closing in Fulton Market after nearly a decade. Timeout Market CEO says the decision was because not as many people were going and operating costs were getting higher. The one in Boston was supposed to close today too, but a new operator stepped in to keep it open. So Timeout will continue to operate its food-centric website. A new space on the city's south side is turning access into opportunity.
Yeah, they've been working on this for months. They cut the ribbon today. Casey Cronus went to Chatham to check it out.
The Collaboratory Training Institute is now officially open. It aims to empower the community to pursue career opportunities, explore creativity, and stay up to speed on digital skills.
Welcome to the Collaboratory. The real work begins now.
designed to inspire, teach, and support community members. The Collaboratory in Chatham will serve as a stepping stone toward a future that's fully connected. The goal, to encourage residents to build their own wealth and attain outcomes bigger than they see for themselves. The Touch Gift Foundation has been supporting community members for years, but now will reach even more residents. The space, located on 79th and Champlain, features a digital learning lab, media suite, career closet, and even a food pantry. Programs range from AI training and career coaching to computer and literacy classes. For founder Kiona Owens and the project's partners, it's an investment for the South Side.
So what it means to me is change. We're looking to create an ecosystem of resources. So literally from people that are low literate to individuals that want to start their own business. So our goal is to provide a service to help people change the trajectory of their lives.
We're here to help. We're here to serve. They don't have to do this alone. And so when they're ready, we're available.
To learn more about enrolling in a program or booking space and equipment here, just head to our website, fox32chicago.com. In Chatham, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
All right, Casey, thanks. Every year, the TSA releases its list of some of the most bizarre items that they've seized.
We'll show you some of the ones that baffled agents the most.
And if you're in the mood for an indoor activity, this one could be for you. Up next, we take you inside Disney on Ice here in Chicago.
Disney on Ice is coming to Chicago.
The new show is called Jump In. It has 50 characters in it and moments that fans know.
Gabriela Primus has a preview.
Wouldn't you say it's a little bit ironic that it's such a cold day, yet we're keeping inside an all-state arena on the ice rink? Well, it's much colder in here. It's totally climate controlled, everyone, so this is the place to be this weekend. I'm with Rebecca. You're an ensemble dancer with Disney on Ice presents a Jump In. How exciting. It's been totally revamped in here, a Disney oasis, I like to call it. Let's talk about what performances families could expect this weekend?
Yeah, so here at Disney on Ice Presents Jump In, we have so many amazing stories. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy are taking us through these stories with their magical mouse pad, and we'll see some of our favorite classics that we know and love, like Toy Story, Frozen, and Encanto, but we're also going to see some new, exciting adventures on the ice for the first time, like Inside Out 2, Zootopia, and Moana 2.
Okay, so all the big names that we're seeing on the big screen right now, you can get an up-close look at it, seeing it in another light. Let's talk about the performance that we're about to show you, just a snippet of Moana 2.
So in Moana 2, we see so many new characters like Moana's parents, Matangi, even Moni, Moana's village historian friend, who's going to take us through Moana's journey to reconnect the peoples of the entire ocean.
Sailing from the horizon, back to our home, our island, coming into our view beneath the morning sky. From the shores we've been exploring, returning to tell our story, connected with both the land and sea. Finally, we're back to who we're meant to be, who I'm meant to be, voyaging the sea. The voyaging past beyond them, thanks to outdoor tours. Sailing from the horizon, can't wait to reach my island. The home I've been missing and the life I'm meant to lead. Connected with both the land and sea. Oh, finally, we're back to who we're meant to be. Of the land and sea, to who we're meant to be.
And the crowd goes crazy. Disney on Ice presents Jump In, happening this weekend at Allstate Arena. Plus, there's some other dates that you can expect. We'll have all the information on our website, fox32chicago.com. I'll send it back to you guys.
I heard you humming all that, Terrence.
That's
Every
a great
single
movie.
note of it.
It's a great freaking, it's a
Good
great
song.
movie.
It's a good song.
All right, let's talk about the Bulls. They're set to honor a legend this weekend. Derrick Rose's number will be retired alongside some of the greats.
Yeah, see his priceless reaction to witnessing his banner for the first time.
And Mark will have another update on the cold weather. And we'll talk about the weekend, too. Come on back.
The energy is back.
All right, what a picture-perfect sunset out there.
Isn't that nice? That is gorgeous. Sun didn't do much today for us.
No.
But, you know, it was kind of almost like a little tease, a little psychological. Hey, I'm here. I can work some days,
He's
but
a
today...
looker. No substance.
Exactly. Exactly right, my friend. All right, here's what's going on right now. We do have clear skies over the city. We'll see an increase of cloud cover as we go through the overnight hours. Right now, we're doing a 5. With a minus sign in front of it. And with northwest winds at 11 miles per hour, it feels more like 23 degrees below zero this hour. Here's a look at your satellite and radar. Clear skies here. Other side of the lake, there are some clouds from Porter and LaPorte County, and there's some snowfall around Berrien County. That is lake effect snow. Our future includes a little bit of snowfall coming up from the south and a little bit of lake snowfall mixing in. So we get snow technically from 2 different directions coming up this weekend. Temperatures right now, -4 along the lakeshore, -7 at Woodstock over to Rockford. It's -5 this hour in Aurora, -9 right now in DeKalb. Wind chills running about 20 to 25 degrees below zero almost everywhere you look, and it will be a bitterly cold night once again. But after tonight, we at least get above zero, and that's something at this point. Satellite and radar, again, not only do we have lake effect snow from southwestern Michigan back up on the western side of the state of Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and all of the Great Lake snow belts are getting pounded here. That will continue for much of the weekend. And there's some snowfall starting to show up out over the high plains. Well, our temperature outlook, if you're looking for warmer temperatures, this is the 6 to 10 day outlook, and we are looking for more below normal temperatures right through that time period. Well, we're certainly below normal as we head through the weekend. 10 tomorrow. But again, as I pointed out, at least we're getting above zero. We're 19 on Sunday. Our best chance of snowfall comes late Saturday night and into Sunday. Our best chance of snowfall will be southeast of the city. That's where I think we're going to see some more enhanced snowfall totals, especially from the Kankakee River Valley onto the south and to the southeast. Again, we're on the north side of this system. Sunshine returns on Monday for a while, but 11 will be our daytime high temperature. This is Futurecast, and you can see what we're talking about. Major storm system that will affect 170 million people across the country. The pink indicates the ice. The ice goes all the way across the Mid-South. We're looking at snowfall stretching from central Illinois and then bubbling up towards Chicago. At the same time, we're getting snowfall down the lake. So this takes us into Saturday night. Things are still fairly quiet, but watch as everything comes together. Again, heaviest snowfall, Kankakee River Valley and southward, but I think our snowfall goes all the way up to the Wisconsin state line. Well, we'll see about an inch or two with heavier snowfall totals, again, south of the Kankakee River. -9 overnight tonight. Tomorrow, 10 degrees the high temperature. Your 7-day forecast calling for a bit of sunshine at 11 on Monday. Temperatures mostly in the teens all week long. We make it up to 21 degrees next week. 21 degrees next Friday. That's the warmest temperature on the map, unfortunately. All right, stick around. We're coming right back.
Fox 32 News is brought to you by
This weekend, D. Rose will join Bulls legends like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and having their number go up in the rafters.
Yeah, check out this video the team released. At the moment Rose first saw his banner, and his reaction is priceless.
Wow, are you serious?
What, bro?
There you can see Rose is stunned to see this beautiful banner. His family joined him, along with former Bulls stars Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, and Kirk Heinrich. Rose will have his jersey retired on Sunday night. He played with the Bulls from 2008 to 2016. In 2011, Rose became the youngest player in NBA history to win the MVP. And of course, he is the pride of Simeon High School. What an incredible moment.
Just great to see his kids be there for that moment as well, because obviously they didn't get to see their dad, you know what I mean, in the height of his career. So being able to see that is just awesome.
They just have that in YouTube now to watch all those clips of his dad. But Southside, Simeon, it's an amazing local boy. Makes good story.
Dad's a baller, kids. Your dad's a baller.
Dad's a baller. All right, the TSA released its yearly roundup of the most bizarre items passengers have tried to sneak through security.
Oh, boy. I barely make it through these stories every year. The latest ones are just baffling.
All right, so the items include bullets and knives hidden in tin foil.
Come on, y'all.
A firearm in a golf bag.
What?
Not very creative here. Bullets in strawberry Nesquik.
That's a waste of Nesquik.
A nice strawberry Nesquik, too. A knife in a child's car seat, or a pills and shampoo bottle, a knife in a knee brace, drugs hidden in shoes.
What y'all got going on?
Razor blades in clothes, and among the weirdest of all,
turtles?
2 turtles found in a traveler's pants and bra. I'm not even going to ask.
Wait.
What's going on there?
Turtles were in each cup?
So you can't just bring...
I mean, you all were asking it. Come on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, the pants too, but I won't go there with that one because my mom is watching.
Just bring your turtles through normally.
But the other stuff, though, like, are you just... Clearly, you're not forgetting that it's there, because a lot of those were strategically placed, but...
I think it's just not going to set off the metal detector. If the strawberry... Is there some study that says strawberry Nesquik hides
But then the other concerning thing is, what were you planning to do with all of that?
I know. That's the rest of the story that we'll have for you at some other point.
All right, a new study finds people spend quite a lot of money to try and lose weight.
Yeah, Talker research poll conducted on behalf of HIMSS Inc. finds the average respondent spent more than $12,000 last year trying to reach their weight and BMI goals. Yeah. Those expenses include paying more for healthier foods, new clothing, and their diet and fitness efforts. Most justify the expenses because they believe they will spend less money when they hit their goal weight. But just a reminder, there are a lot of things you can do to keep weight loss expenses down, from going on a walk to just making a few sensible food swaps. I did the elliptical this morning, quit after about 10 minutes because it's just like, it's too cold outside. Even though I was inside, I'd always look for an excuse to
At least you went.
To stop short.
At least you went. HIMSS, by the way, that's the service that provides services, medical services, without you having to go to the doctor.
Services.
Yeah, so,
yes, those kinds of...
you know, ED and weight loss, drugs, all that good stuff.
All right. The quest for love, speaking of the things you were just talking about, more single people are putting their potential partners in the hot seat.
Yeah, there's a new trend that's called hot take dating. So they want to encourage people to be as upfront and honest as possible with their viewpoints on things like politics and religion, especially their most controversial ones. So the logic is that by sharing your opinions early on, you filter out people who aren't a good match for you. I get that. Experts say you should still use caution, though, if you test out this approach, claiming you could come off as too extreme. Yeah, you still got to do it.
Do you get a buzzer if you're not a match? Bing, you're out.
Yeah, it'll feel like a buzzer when you're out.
All right, well, on that note, thanks for watching the news at 4.
Here's what we have for you on the news at 5. Andy